This is part 4 of our winter adventure. We continue to find even more camps after we have chased Paul off, but riding is becoming pretty hard and the bikes are starting to suffer damage and many flat tyres. Before we let Paul go, there are a couple of finds I left out from the last episode, so let's catch up on those first. The tracks you can see in the horse yards are those made by driving in and when we ride out each day on the bikes. Nice little white jar, lid intact, looks like it's been pressed in so it might be part of the screw thread, and on the bottom it is a jar of Marmite. Don't know whether this comes out, there's the word Marmite, but it's still made by AGM. There's a tobacco tin with the colour still on it and the shape of a fat man by the looks of it. Was that Capstan?
I thought it was Champion.
Champion. Why would you have a fat guy as a champion?
Because he wasn't fat, he just had a suit on.
It looks like a fat guy to me. Well, this can stay out in the bush for someone else to come and have a look at. And also found this bottle. Nothing really interesting about the bottle except someone has carved a name or two words in it, and it says like M-E-L-V-E-T, Melvet, B-I-N-T-E-Y, Binty. Got no idea whether that was done relatively recently or a long time ago. Bit of a flat tyre caused by that little stick. When I was playing back the drone footage, I discovered an interesting track on the ground near this rocky outcrop. The three lines do not extend past the rocks, and they seem to me as if they might be dray tracks. Who knows? I never noticed them on the small screen in the bush, and now I wish we had taken the time to ride out to the rocks to see what they were. Just pushing through the bush, we're trying to find a track that meets up with the track that we were on yesterday, and it looks like this is it here. You can just see slight clearing through the bush and a bit of a raised mound where the formation used to be. So we're going to head that way, probably about 2 k's, 2.5 k's, and we should meet up with our tracks from yesterday, as long as the GPS doesn't fail. The track started off relatively easy but quickly got quite difficult. Lost all sign of where the rower line used to be, and the only satisfying thing is that we can see a couple of cut trees behind us, and that's always a good indicator that woodliners were out this way. We've ridden about 3 k's further south than we had the other day, so about 7 k's in total from our campsite. We've just come across another camping area that the woodliners stayed at. We're going to explore around here for a little bit. The going into here was a lot harder than we expected. There was some really thick bush and it was hard to keep on track. But anyway, we made it to here and we'll see what we're going to do. We only have a couple of hours of daylight left and we need to make sure that we're back in camp before it gets dark, because there's no street lights out here.
Like little indents all through it.
Yeah, what would they be for?
Just to reduce the amount of water you have to have in the kettle.
It's clever.
Yeah, I thought it was clever. Oh, look. There's one around. Chili lamp. Even got the little bit in the middle.
Found a little wind-up motor for a toy or something, or some weird thing, with this tiny little red spider on it. I don't think it bit me. Just stumbled across this really beautiful little bottle. It's a Schweppes bottle. It has their coat of arms on it. A nice pinkish colour. It's just too bad the top's been broken off. Really nice bottle, that one. Now I'm going to leave it behind for someone else to look for.
Really?
Yeah.
Bet you won't leave this fucker behind.
Yeah, you're right. I'm going to leave this behind for someone to look at too.
No, you're not.
Yep, I'll put it on the ground with the other one. Nice little pencil case thing.
Or a jewellery box or something.
Yeah. Holding cigars in. I'll get it.
The top of a jar or something.
This camp was quite large and there was a lot of treasure here. We captured many great images.
Well, I thought I did too, but
All these little
Ribs on it.
Yeah, it's got a number 120. (129/32). Just walking through the scrub at this big campsite. This fire pit here does not look terribly old. There's a lot of ash and stuff there. Old toilet can. Couple of, well, there is one galvanised iron bucket here, there, and a lump of roller lying on the ground. A bit of charcoal in this area. Axe head and a gin bottle. Another good as gold pickles jar. And Stephen's found a saw
and a little bowl.
Cheeseborough.
Cheeseborough.
Chesborough.
Is that cheese?
Made in New York, I don't know.
New York.
Yeah. That's a place near 2J. This is what it's like walking up to a pile of tins. You never really know what you're going to get. Other than the tins, of course. And a lot of teacups here. Square jar, another jar there. I think this is most likely to have been honey or something. Yeah, West Combi honey. Someone's hacked into that. Bit of an unusual bottle, this one. It's JDKZ, so I've seen these types of bottles before, but the symbol has been sandblasted into the bottle itself, and there's lots of scratches around the side here, and on this side here. It's not seen that before. It's quite unusual. Here's another example of the JDKZ, and this one's embossed, unlike the one that you'd like to say laser etched, but it wasn't. It was sandblasted. This is an unusual thing too. Got no idea what it could be. Another giveaway that someone's been here before. Horseshoes don't typically end up like that onto a pot. Another good as gold. The shadows are getting long. The day is drawn to a close. And we're still stuck here, about 6 k's from our campsite. Here's another fairly large camp someone's had. Some bits of wood that were probably from a crate or something. It would appear that they did very little to clean up their rubbish when they were finished with it. They just tossed it out the back door. Look what else is here.
You're gonna like it because it's got a top on it. And it's going purple.
That's a little salt shaker.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'll just leave it in the bush.
No you won't.
I will. That's sore.
Yeah, it's pretty cool too. There's 2 of them.
Where's the second one?
Underneath it. Is that just, yeah, there's another one.
No, there's 2.
Oh, it's rusty.
They're still sharp, aren't they?
Yes.
You reckon you cut a tree with that one?
Probably could. It's
No.
only got one handle, but still got the wing nut on it.
Look at the Coolgardie safe behind you.
Yeah. Got spidey.
See, Stacey, these are all the things that you love and you miss out on.
There's even the door, hey?
Oh, really?
The whole thing is here.
Complete.
Your bike isn't big enough. There's no marking on it except on the bottom. It's got WGH.
WGH.
Yep. Just rubbed it off.
Did you?
Yep.
Did not. Did not. Another one that's been sandblasted and a purple thing.
No markings on it, but it still had the lid at some recently.
So this is the campsite we've been looking for a couple of days. Not this one in particular, but a campsite this size. Stephen's trying to dig out
I think it's a wash basin.
a wash basin out of the ground. Got a few holes in it. And I've just found a little tin of nugget. I wonder if that's appropriate these days. Nugget shoe polish. They still come in little tins like that. I'm pretty sure the rower line goes further that way, another couple of k's. The images I got off Google Earth indicate that it goes towards the west slightly. That's probably another half a kilometre away from here. And there is another spur a couple of kilometres further south than that, and I think this line joins up to it, but I can't pick that on Google Earth, and we're not going to risk driving through the bush just on a guess. And the other issue we've got, it's now 3:30 in the afternoon. We've got about an hour and 20 minutes of daylight left, so there's no way we can go any further south. We need to head back towards our campsite. We'll be following our tracks back and the GPS, and we should get there just prior to dark. A couple of days after Paul left, Steve, Julie and I packed up and headed off to another location where we hoped to find another old track. This track would prove to be very hard and did even more damage to our motorbikes. But before we can make camp, there are still more trees to clear. We've just pulled up in our next campsite for the next couple of days. We've pulled off the track about 300 or 400 metres, so there's a bit of privacy and a bit more security. And this is what our campsite will look like. We've parked the truck in a bit more sun because we had a problem with the batteries not charging due to us parking in some shade. The sun's fairly north at the moment because we're in the middle of winter, obviously, and we end up parking in an area where it didn't receive much sun and the batteries went almost flat this morning. And Stephen's setting up over there, and the campfire will be on the other side of the truck. We're going to collect some firewood. Got a special cutting tool here, something I've used for a few years. Really quite impressed with them. Modern men using modern technology. We don't need to muck around with stupid blades, stupid tomahawks and axes that you have to wield for half an hour to cut a piece of wood. We don't cut any standing trees, we only take dead trees. You can argue they're habitat trees, but every single tree is a habitat tree because every tree's got either bugs, insects or geckos living in it. So we're just going to cut up the ones that have been killed when they've fallen over, and we'll have some firewood for a couple of days here.